Raise your hand if you're that mom that seems to be cooking so many different dinners just to feed your family, because everyone in your family has a different taste preference. Luckily, for the most part, my kids are pretty good eaters, and my husband usually eats anything that I bake. But I was really excited tonight to put a Muffuletta sandwich on the menu. And then when I made the announcement, all I got back was groans. So let's get started and I'll show you my creative solution. Okay, so to start, I'm going to make an olive tapenade. That is the key important thing for a Muffuletta sandwich. This is really easy to scale, but since I'm the only one that likes the olive tapenade, I'm just gonna make a small amount. So you can use a magic bullet, or my food processor has this small little bowl. Probably even make it in a blender too. Or just do a rough hand chop actually. I wouldn't blend it because you don't want it pureed. You just want a quick chop. So even not getting out the food processor and just doing a quick hand chop would be really good for this. All right, so you're gonna start off with green manzanilla. Olives is usually typically what we have for this. And just gonna put in some, I'm gonna make enough for me, but then I'll have a little bit extra that I will eat with lunch, you know, later in the week or whatever. So this jar was not full, but I went ahead and used what I had left of it. Okay, so I learned a new thing. I had to ask Google how to pronounce this. It's Giardiniera, and
I had to pause this because Google let me down. It's actually pronounced jardinera, and that is not what Google led me to believe when I first asked.
Google said gardenia, which sounds like the flower to me, but that's what I heard. I asked it like 4 times, and it's gardenia. I'm like, okay. So it's a vegetable mix that is kind of basically like pickled vegetables. And so this one's got a really big piece of cauliflower right there at the top. And it's got celery and carrots. Looks like, I wonder if that's a zucchini. I'm not sure. No, apparently it's a cucumber. So I'm trying, since I'm not making a ton of this, I'm trying to get just a little bit of each vegetable in my food processor here. There's a carrot. Let me grab another carrot and another big piece of cauliflower. I'm getting some of the celery. And this is just good to add to, like, if you've got a chef salad or whatnot, putting a little bit of this on your salad at lunchtime is just a fun way to get a different type of vegetable. And then I'm going to add roasted red bell peppers. They smell so good. So I love roasted red bell peppers. Y'all have seen me on this channel make a couple of different wrap sandwiches. I would be adding these to all my wraps, but I've been out for a while. And so today I'm like, because I went to the grocery store today, I'm like, I'm buying another jar of these. But be careful because they will actually go moldy on you pretty quickly. Try to make sure that the bell peppers stay below the level of the liquid, and you do need to eat it fairly quickly or it will get moldy. Then I'm going to add some capers. This is an ingredient that I've only started recently using. It's really good in some different pasta dishes. It's good if you make homemade tartar sauce. I have a homemade tartar sauce video up on the channel. So yeah, capers are kind of fun little, again, it's like a little pickled part of a flour. Okay, so I'm just gonna put some of those in there. I'm gonna put a splash of, these are 2 very small garlic cloves again, because I'm making a small amount. Put a splash of red wine vinegar and a splash of olive oil. And then I'm not gonna salt it yet because of all this pickled stuff probably has a lot of salt. So I'm gonna taste it at the end and then decide if I wanna add salt. So I'm gonna do a little bit more olive oil. Oh, it smells good. I'm gonna give this a couple pulses. Again, I don't want it to puree. I just want it to be a rough chop. Okay, so this is usually the texture you'll find for a sandwich. You could pulse it a little bit more and get it to a tighter, almost puree if you want it to be a dip with like chips and crackers. I'm just gonna use a tortilla chip to give it a taste. Yeah, definitely does not need salt with those olives and all the pickled stuff. No salt. Perfect. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I don't know why my family doesn't like it. The funny thing is, my last video was about my 19th anniversary. And I'm just laughing because, like, married to my husband for 19 years. And tonight I'm like, oh, I'm making muffulettas. And he's like, oh, I don't really like olive tapenade. And I'm like, what? He's like, I've said this to you many times. You've just never paid attention. Okay, I got it. But the thing is, that's the thing about my sweetheart. He totally eats it every time I make it. So that's why I didn't really sink in that he didn't like it. All right, I'm going to clean this mess up and then I'll show you the creative way that I am making one dinner for everybody and we'll all be happy. Okay, I haven't updated my menu over there in several videos, so I need to get on that. I'm sure y'all can relate, right? Who else has menu boards that just don't get updated very often? Okay, so I recommend that you buy fresh bread from the deli or make it homemade and do it that same day if you can, or at least the day before, because otherwise it'll go stale really quickly. So I found this gorgeous, oh my gosh, look at this beautiful, beautiful loaf. And this will serve probably like 6 people. My kids don't eat huge portions. So, I mean, I would say 4, maybe 6 if you have other side dishes and stuff for hungry adults. So I'm going to cut this, try to do it in half with my bread knife. Oh, it's nice and crusty. I love crusty bread like this. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Okay, so a lot of people will like pull out some of the bread, but I'm just gonna kind of poke it in. So earlier I just toasted some garlic in olive oil and I'm going to paint this on my bread. Man, I don't know if I got enough. Oh yeah, I did. There it goes. There it goes. Just give it a nice olive oil, garlicky. I'm gonna save that garlic too. I'll come up with some kind of use for that toasted garlic. Heck, I should have added that to the tapenade. Maybe I'll do that on my side. Olive oil on top. Then my deli sells these really cute packages of Italian sandwich trios. So that makes it really convenient. But if you can't find something like this prepackaged at your grocery store, then just pick out whatever your favorite Italian cheese and salamis and hams are. This one I've bought before, and I know it's just 2 salamis and cheese. And I like to have ham on my Italian sandwiches too, so I bought another package of just ham. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to assemble this sandwich without the olive top. Normally what you do is you'd put the tapenade, you'd build your sandwich, put your tapenade on, and then we're going to press this down as a pressed sandwich. But since nobody else wants a tapenade, what I'm going to do, it's not going to be quite as good, but you know, it's a good mom moment. I am just going to make this part where everyone's going to like it. Then I'm going to press it. And then right before serving it, I'll take the top off. I'll add tapenade to my sandwich. And then I'm sure my husband will want to add some honey mustard to his because he likes honey mustard on his sandwiches. And my kids are probably just going to eat theirs with no other sauce, maybe some mayonnaise, because that's what they like. So whatever, you know, food is personal, so do what you like. But this way I can make the bulk of it and then everyone can kind of customize it to their preference. So that was salami. This is kind of a spicy pepperoni. And again, here's where I'm going to customize because my kids don't like this one as much. So I'm literally only going to put it on half the sandwich. There we go. And I'll just make sure Hubs and I get the pepperoni side. So I want to know down in the comments who does things like this for their family, where it's not about making separate meals. Like, I've never been that mom that will make completely separate meals for my kids. But if I can easily tweak a meal so that everyone in the family is happy and it doesn't take any much effort. And the extra effort was the olives, which is for me. So I'm okay with that. All right, so we're going to put this on and then I'm going to wrap it in plastic wrap as best I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just to try to help to compress it. I have a panini press, although honestly, it's not really super heavy and I want to get this down fast. So I'm going to use my cast iron skillet, whatever the heaviest thing is in your pantry, or maybe a bunch of cans. Look at this. I got this giant bottle of maple syrup. It was completely on sale. I was so excited. I actually didn't want a bottle this big because that's going to take a lot of space in my refrigerator, but it was such a good deal that I couldn't pass it up. Anyway, so this weighs quite a bit. I actually might put some cans down in here too, but I'm gonna let it press. If you plan to do this early in the morning, you're gonna want to find a way to press it in for refrigeration. I'm only gonna have this sitting out for an hour. Food safety, you do not want it out for more than I think the FDA says lunch meat for 3 hours. Look that up. I'm not gonna give you food science on that, but I feel comfortable leaving this out on my counter for an hour to press down. And then we'll show you in a little bit how to cut it all up and top it how you want. So as you can see, I did pull out a couple more jars from my pantry and I just tried to get this thing weighted down as much as possible. So let's unwrap it and see what it looks like. It's been just about an hour since I created my contraption here. Okay, so again, ideally, if you were gonna make a muffuletta, you would put the tapenade on there, and then what pressing it does help get the juices of these olives to kind of just soak up into the bread. So this is a compromise, but it's a compromise that I'm willing to deal with so that everyone in the family gets a dinner they love. It did press down quite a bit. It's definitely a lot skinnier than it was. So I want to line it up with where the pepperoni was as best as possible. And I'm just gonna cut this into 4 pieces, and then what my kids don't eat, they can wrap up and have for lunch tomorrow. So I'm going to take 1/4 of this sandwich, and I'm going to put my tapenade on, and then I will give it a taste with you. I'm gonna be very generous with it because this is Flavor City. All right, here goes my big old muffuletta sandwich. Let's give it a bite. The tapenade is perfect. Oh my gosh, this is so good. It's still a big mouthful. It'd be nicer if I could have let it sit a little bit longer to compress down so you can get your mouth around it, but I'm not complaining. I'm very excited to sit down and eat this yummy dinner. Thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye guys. Hey guys, we just finished dinner and I just wanted to pop on with a quick update. This sandwich was really good, but well, for one thing, like I said, it was a pretty big slice, but also my jaw got really tired. The bread was so thick. So remember when at the beginning when I said, press it down, or some people scoop it out? Yeah, I had that kind of aha moment when I was sitting there trying to eat it. People, I think, pull out a lot of the inside of the bread to help make the bread even smaller. So I would suggest not skipping that step and just use the bread for breadcrumbs or toast it up for homemade croutons or something like that. Anyway, just wanted to give that as an update because while the sandwich was really good, my jaw has a workout. And I'm gonna save this up and eat it later.